بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى أخته العقيلة زينب وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس ورحمة الله وبركاته. قال سيدنا ومولانا الإمام جعفر بن محمد الصادق عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام في زيارة الوارث: أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وأتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. Since the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam in Karbala 61 AH, the Ihya, the commemoration of Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi's martyrdom that occurs every year on the months of Muharram and Safar, have been fought with from many sides differently. Some, they tried to fight the rituals of Imam al-Hussein itself, the Iqama of Majalis, the recitation of the Nawha, the recitation of the Ziyarat, the Ad'iyah. And that was an issue that the movement of Imam al-Hussein, the Ihya of Ashura, has been facing since the day Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi was martyred in Karbala. There are different types of ways these people, they are fighting the movement of Imam al-Hussein. One, you find that the Iqam of Majalis must be stopped. That is why in many Muslim countries you find that it is forbidden for a center, a Husayniyya, a mosque, to have flags that have the name of Imam al-Hussein or the name of Abu Fadl Abbas or the name of Sayyidah Ruqayya or any other names that represent the commemoration of Ashura. It is also forbidden for them to have speakers outside, to have it publicly, and we are talking about Muslim countries. And that raises a lot of questions, that why is it Muslims are fighting the movement of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi? If you look at other religions, for example, if you look at Christianity, when it comes to Christmas, almost all Christians, and not even just the Christians, you find even when it comes to Muslims, they celebrate Christmas, they celebrate the birthday of Isa ibn Maryam. And you find many people, they come into this season of Muharram, they call themselves Muslims, and they don't commemorate the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. Okay, there are many questions arise here. Number one, who is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi? Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So Imam al-Hussein is not like any other person. He's not a companion. He's the grandson of the Prophet of Islam. He is the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He is the son of Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of Rasulullah, the only daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. His movement in Karbala, his rebellion, his revolution was to reform Islam. Imam al-Hussein himself said to Marwan ibn Hakam, and this is narrated in many books, one of them Luhuf, page 20, Mathir al-Ahzan, page 25, Maqtal Awalim, page 125, Maqtal Khawarizmi, volume 1, page 184, Bahar Anwar, volume 44, page 326, where the Imam said to Marwan ibn Hakam, إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وعلى الإسلام السلام إذ بليت الأمة براع مثل يزيد ولقد سمعت جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول الخلافة محرمة على آل أبي سفيان فإذا رأيتم معاوية على منبري فابقروا بطنه وقد رآه أهل مدينة على المنبر فلم يبقروا فابتلاهم الله بيزيد الفاسق. The personality of Imam al-Hussein, the character of Imam al-Hussein is put under investigation, as was his movement, was justified by God, by the Prophet of Islam, by the Sharia. Then you come and you see in their books, in their speeches, they come and they justify the killing of Imam al-Hussein, they justify the actions of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and they come and they bring many traditions, fabricated traditions from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about Yazid ibn Muawiyah. One of them, a so-called scholar by the name of Taha al-Dilemi, he comes and he says the fada'il, the virtues of Sayyiduna Yazid. May Allah curse Yazid and the ones who come and justify the actions of Yazid. In 2 or 3 volumes, in many speeches, he's justifying the actions of Yazid. Yazid ruled the Muslim Ummah 3 years. The first year he killed Imam al-Hussein. Well, the killing of Imam al-Hussein is justified from these people. And we are talking about enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enemies of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, enemies of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi afdalu salati wa salam, enemies of Islam itself. The first year that Yazid killed Imam al-Hussein, well, Hussein ibn Ali had no right to rebel against Yazid. Why? Because we heard Rasulullah saying, whoever rebels against the Khalifa of his time, if he dies and if he's killed, his blood is his own responsibility. And they say these words, قتل الحسين بسيف جده رسول الله. Hussein was killed by the sword of his own grandfather, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To justify the action of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, they put Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam responsible of killing of Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi, or the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi. And they come with this question, and they say, was Hussein even a martyr? Because Hussein is not a martyr. Hussein is merely a person who rose against the Khalifa of his time, and he failed miserably, and that was a battle like any other battle. You have the victorious side, and of course you have the defeated side, and Hussein was on the defeated side, and his death, his companion's death, his family's death is his own responsibility. To this extent, they come and they justify the killing of Imam al-Hussein by Yazid ibn Muawiyah. And they call Yazid ibn Muawiyah until today, brothers and sisters, Sayyiduna Yazid, Amir al-Mu'mineen Yazid. And they come with different traditions that are fabricated from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, where he said that a man who leads an army to conquer the world is a good Amir. And of course they referring that to Yazid ibn Muawiyah. And they even come and they say the war that was happening to conquer many parts of the world, the commander of that army was Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and Hussein ibn Ali was even one of the soldiers in his army. So to this extent, you come and you justify the action of killing Imam al-Hussein. The second year, if you come and see, what did Yazid do on the second year? The second year, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, he started this revolution or this war against Abdullah bin Zubayr. And they compare Abdullah bin Zubayr with Imam al-Hussein. The two are the same. Hussein ibn Ali wanted Khilafah for himself, and he failed miserably. And Abdullah bin Zubayr also wanted Khilafah for himself. For a couple of years he had it, and then he, of course, was also killed. The hitting of the Kaaba with Manjaniq, they are also here come and justify the action of Yazid ibn Muawiyah. As because Yazid ibn Muawiyah had to fight these people, they were the enemies of God, the enemies of Islam, and they had the oath of allegiance, so they had no right to come and fight Yazid ibn Muawiyah. And then they come to Waqa'at al-Harra, the killing of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. With their own words, they also justify this by saying that Waqa'at al-Harra happened because of the betrayal of the Sahaba, of the companions. One where in one place you come and you justify every action of the Sahaba, of the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you come and you bring them up and you put them in the level of Rasulullah, and you say they are also the ones that will enter heaven, paradise without question. But here, on this occasion, the Sahaba, the companions, they betrayed Yazid and their killing was justified. So if you look at Ziyarat Warith, that is narrated by Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, what does the Imam say in this ziyarah? He says, أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة. I bear witness that you performed the prayers, defrayed, enjoyed the right, وأمرت بالمعروف, defrayed the poor right, enjoyed the right, forbade the wrong, ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. And you, Ya Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, obeyed Allah and His Messenger until death came upon you. Then the Imam continues in this ziyarah where he says, so may Allah curse the people who slew you. فَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً قَتَلَتْكَ وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً ظَلَمَتْكَ. May Allah curse the people who persecuted you. And then the Imam continues in Ziyarat al-Warith where he says, وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. May Allah curse the people who were pleased when they had heard of that. وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. Who are the ones until today they justify the actions of Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and they come and they say Yazid ibn Muawiyah had all the right to kill Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi, and they come and they say Hussein fell into a big problem that he could not get out of. It wasn't his choice to fall into this problem, and his actions led for him to be killed. إن الحسين قتل بشرع جده, as one of them says, by the name of Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi. إن الحسين قتل بشرع جده. Rasulullah killed Imam al-Hussein. The Shia killed Imam al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein mistake led him to his own death. Is that what you come up with? In order to bring Yazid ibn Muawiyah, Sharib al-Khumur, may Allah curse Yazid and whoever was in the government of Yazid, that they brought this army to fight Imam al-Hussein Salamullahi alayhi in Karbala, the 40,000 soldiers, to kill Imam al-Hussein Salamullahi alayhi in Karbala. And Imam al-Hussein wanted to reform Islam. The Imam says to him, to Marwan ibn Hakam, Al-Khilafah muharrama ala al Abi Sufyan. Khilafah, the caliphate, is not for Al Abi Sufyan. It's not for Abu Sufyan, it's not for Muawiyah, and it's not for Yazid. It's not for the family of Abu Sufyan. Why? Because they are the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you look at the lineage of Abu Sufyan, if you look at the family tree, you find Abu Sufyan, he fought Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that some of the so-called Muslims come, even they bring Abu Sufyan to the status of sainthood, and they say that Abu Sufyan was companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to this extent. And then Muawiyah, the son of Abu Sufyan, he fought Amir al-Mu'mineen sallallahu alayhi, and Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba, the grandsons of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, and Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba. And of course, he was the one who gave the lead, he gave the saha, the whole field, to his son Yazid ibn Muawiyah, who Yazid, even in Shamat, the government of Muawiyah did not agree for him to be the Khalifa, because they knew that if he becomes a Khalifa, if he becomes the ruler, the whole government of Muawiyah will be destroyed because of his actions. Yazid ibn Muawiyah was a person who came into power and he was very young. And Yazid, Safiq al-Dam, Yazid was much different than his father Muawiyah. And you can even go and read about Yazid ibn Muawiyah in the books. Of course, they come about Yazid ibn Muawiyah, they say that there are different groups of them, where they say, some of them, you are entitled to either curse him or not curse him. It's up to you. If you curse him or not curse him. Some say Yazid ibn Muawiyah, you cannot curse him. From this Muslim ummah, I'm not talking about Christians, brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about Jews. I'm not talking about Hindus. I'm talking about Muslims that read the Shahadatain. They believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They justify the action of Yazid, the killer of the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Imam says, سمعت جدي رسول الله يقول الخلافة محرمة على آل أبي سفيان فإذا رأيتم معاوية على منبري فابقروا بطنه. If you see Muawiyah on my member, on my pulpit, kill him, bring him down. And the Imam said, وَقَدْ رَآهُ أَهْلُ الْمَدِينَةِ عَلَى الْمِنْبَرِ فَلَمْ يَبْقُرُوهُ بطنه. They saw him sitting on the member and they did not do anything. فَابْتَلَاهُمُ اللَّهُ بِيَزِيدَ الْفَاسِقِ. And of course, Yazid came and he took power. And the Imam Ali والسلام, he justified for not just the people at that time. The Imam, even though he is the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as they say, Hussein ibn Ali made a grave mistake. He did not listen to the Sahaba. He did not listen to Abdullah bin Umar. He did not listen to his brother Muhammad ibn Hanafiya. To many of the companions, they came to him and they said to him, this is not the right way. This is not the right direction you're going to. You will be killed. You will be prosecuted. You will be jailed. This is not right for you to do this. And they say, well, he did not listen to the Sahaba. He did not listen to the Sahaba, and that led for him to be killed. First of all, who is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? We established that he's the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He's the son of Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of Rasulullah, the only daughter of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he is the brother of Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba. He is also an infallible Imam. Infallible Imam. He's Imam who is sinless, infallible, ma'soom. What does that mean? That means that if the Sahaba, all of the Sahaba in Medina, they come to him and they say something and he does something else, what Imam al-Hussein does is the right thing that must be done, and that is to rebel against Yazid ibn Muawiyah, and the rest are all wrong. Not vice versa. Not that the Sahaba know better than him, know more than him, know the truth, and Imam al-Hussein does not know the truth. Imam knows that this will lead for him to be killed in Karbala. He will be massacred. Imam knows that. But the Imam, alayhi salatu wassalam, from his letter to Ahl al-Basra, the Imam says it perfectly, and he clarifies his movement and his rebellion. What does he say? The Imam alayhi salatu wassalam says to Ahl al-Basra that ألا ترون إلى السنة قد أميتت فإن السنة قد أميتت والبدعة قد أحيت. The Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, you brothers and sisters that you call yourselves Sunnis, you say that we follow the traditions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. We follow the sayings of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, his actions. Even you must be thankful to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein for that salah that you pray, for that mosques that you turn the lights on and you gather in. You must be thankful to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's grandson, Imam al-Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And how is that? You might be asking. Because the Sunnah in the time of Yazid ibn Muawiyah was dragged into mud, as we established last night. They were changing the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the question here again arises, who is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? If Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi is an Imam, infallible Imam, and he knows best, then the companions are the ones who are wrong, not Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Imam knows that this ummah now needs a revolution. This ummah needs a reformer. This ummah needs someone to bring back Islam to its true form. And that fake Islam that it's been changed by the Umayyads must be brought back to the Islam of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Imam says, Salamullah alayhi says, فَإِن تَسْمَعُوا قَوْلِي أَهْدِكُمْ إِلَى سَبِيلِ الرَّشَادِ. If you listen to me, I'll take you to the right path. That is why, if you look at the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, many hadith. One, where the Prophet says, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم حسين مني وأنا من حسين. Hussein is from me, and I am from Hussein. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam continues, أحب الله من أحب حسين. May Allah love those who love Hussein. How do you show your love to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Wearing black, commemorating his martyrdom, reading the speeches of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, going through them, page by page, sentence by sentence, and seeing the whole iqam of majalis, gathering the majalis of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. That shows that you love Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. أحب الله من أحب حسينا. Now so-called Muslims, they call themselves Muslims, they pray 5 times a day, they believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they believe that the Kaaba is a holy place, and they believe in the holy book, Quran al-Kareem, but there's no love from them toward the progeny of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أحب الله من أحب حسينا. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam continues in this hadith. He says, وأبغض الله من أبغض حسينا. And Allah hates those who hate Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Who are those who hate Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Now, there were 30 to 40,000 enemy combatants that were surrounded Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in Karbala. They killed Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. There were Umar ibn Sa'd, Yazid ibn Muawiyah, Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, Haram ibn Kahil, Sinan ibn Anas, and so on and so forth. You know, brothers and sisters, they even justify the actions of these 5. Because these 5 with the leaders of the rest of the army. And of course with Umar ibn Sa'd. They say, yes, Umar ibn Sa'd, we can justify his action because Umar ibn Sa'd did what the Prophet said to him to do. And that is to kill the one who comes out and rebels against the Imam of his time, the Khalifa of his time, and that is Hussein ibn Ali. To this extent, you have hate toward Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. وَأَبْغَضَ اللَّهَ مَنْ أَبْغَضَ حُسَيْنًا. This is it. وَأَبْغَضَ اللَّهَ مَنْ أَبْغَضَ حُسَيْنًا. You are showing your hate here when you justify the killing of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And you're saying that the killing of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was only a murder. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take Imam al-Hussein as responsible for this. Not the other side. Not the other side. This is what you say? That shows their hatred and their enmity to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. They are the enemies of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. This is why in Ziyarat al-Warith, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq says, فَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً قَتَلَتْكَ. So may Allah curse the people who slew you. Who slew Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Who killed Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? Well, we know the whole gang of these people, the whole group of them that came and killed Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. And the Imam continues in his ziyarah where he says, وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً ظَلَمَتْكَ وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. And may Allah curse the people who were pleased when they had heard of it. Pleased by the killing of Abdullah al-Hussein in Kufa, in Sham, and until today, Imam Zain al-Abidin narrates, he says, we entered Sham as if it was Eid, celebrating Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr. Garments everywhere, the women were playing the drums, and the men were laughing, and they were throwing flower petals everywhere, and they were dancing and chanting. What is the occasion here? It is a Eid. Is it a Eid? Is it Eid al-Adha? Is it Eid al-Fitr? No. Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is killed. His head is on the spears. His family are taken captive. And yet you find Muslims are celebrating the martyrdom of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. This is why the Imam says, وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. They heard of the killing of Imam al-Hussein and they were pleased by it. They agreed to it. And these people, they were happy, joyful until today. On the day of Ashura, they are joyful. You know, brothers and sisters, every year on the day of Ashura, that it's the darkest day in human history. I'm not just saying the Muslim history, human history. The darkest, most tragic day. It's a day of Ashura where the heavens cried for Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi, where the angels cried for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi. Yet you find the so-called Muslims, they come and celebrate, and they have weddings, and they fast on that day, and they come with these fabrications of the hadith, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he saw some Jews, some Yahud, fasting on the day of Ashura, and he asked them, why are you fasting today? Well, they said, this is the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rescued us from Fir'aun, from the Pharaoh. So we are fasting this day, and this is the tradition from Musa ibn Imran, Moses, that we thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with fasting. What the Prophet said, and this is of course a fabricated hadith, where the Prophet said that I am closer to my brother Musa ibn Imran, and he told the Muslims for them to fast on the day of Ashura. The books are changed. History is changed to an extent that we must change the whole reason Imam al-Hussein came out. But of course, whatever they do increases the majalis, the gatherings of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, increases the traditions of about Abdullah al-Hussein being spread around the world. And if you see, when they see that the Shia of Ahlul Bayt alayhim are commemorating the martyrdom of Abdullah al-Hussein during the month of Muharram and Safar, they are not happy by it. And they come and they say, look at the Shia. Look at the Shia. They commemorate the martyrdom of their Imam, third Imam, Hussein ibn Ali, for 2 months, but they don't commemorate the martyrdom of the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I'm not pleased by some of the Shia. They want to justify these, and they answer them. They say, yes, brothers, you know, we also commemorate the martyrdom of Rasulullah, the death of Rasulullah. Of course, they don't believe in the martyrdom of Rasulullah. They believe that he died, hatfa anfi, on his deathbed. He just died like any other person. And some Shia come and say, yes, we do also commemorate the martyrdom, the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So don't think we forgot about that. You don't commemorate the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein salamullah alayhi, the grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yet you come and say, well, don't you do for others as well? So Ibn al-Arabi says, Al-Hussein قتل بسيف جدي. Abu Bakr ibn al-Arabi says it clearly in his books that Hussein ibn Ali was killed with the sword of his own grandfather, because he went against what the Prophet said to him and to the Muslim Ummah. If you see an Amir, and this is one of the biggest zulm, oppression toward the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they come with this hadith. They say, the Prophet said, if you see an Amir of a bilad, of Muslimin, even if he drinks alcohol in public, and if he commits adultery in public, you have no right to say anything against him. I mean, you have no right to rebel against him. Yet, of course, this is according to what they like and what they don't like. If they like the governor, they like the Amir, or they like the king, that is there. But if they don't like the person, and you can see today with today politics, a person is liked, they come up with this hadith, and they say, even if you see it on TV channels, on YouTube, whatever, you see your king, your Amir is drinking alcohol in public and is committing adultery in public, you have no right to rebel. You have no right to say anything. The others from other governments, from other countries, no, that person you have to go and you have to fight him, and we have jihad here, and so on and so forth. It's according to what they like and what they don't like. And Imam Hussein said it himself, that this religion is like a toy in some hands. They take some and they leave some, and they see which one is according to their own likings. If they like it, they take that. If they don't take this. Ibn Abi al-Hadid also said it. Ibn Taymiyyah says that the unity of the Ummah was more important than what Imam al-Hussein did in Karbala. Leave the Ummah as it is. Why are you coming and you're rebelling against Yazid ibn Muawiyah? The Ummah is doing good and it's fine. Imam himself says it too. Marwan ibn al-Hakam, he says to him, Al-Khilafa muharrama ala Abi Sufyan. And Imam Ali Abdul Salati Wasalam says to his brother Muhammad ibn Hanafiyyah, what does he say? وإني لم أخرج أشرا ولا بطرا ولا مفسدا ولا ظالما وإنما خرجت لطلب الإصلاح في أمة جدي محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أريد أن آمر بالمعروف وأنهى عن المنكر. I want to enjoy good and forbid evil. Yet they come and say the unity of the Ummah was more important than him coming out and rebel against Yazid ibn Muawiyah. And he came and he destroyed the whole unity of the Ummah. He started a whole, people coming out, different groups, because after the rebellion of Imam al-Hussein, after the revolution of Imam al-Hussein, Yazid did not have a day of comfort. And Sayyidah Zainab said to him, Sayyida Zainab, she said that to him in his court, فَكِدْ كَيْدَكْ وَسَعَ سَعْيَكْ فَوَاللَّهِ لَا تَمْحُو ذِكْرَنَا وَلَا تُمِيتُ وَحْيَنَا. And then the lady said to him, your days are numbered. You will live for a couple of days, a year or two, and that's it. You are done. After the revolution of Imam al-Hussein, another revolution happened. The revolution of Abdullah bin Zubayr. And if you look at the different revolutions that came after the revolution of Imam al-Hussein, the way to justify their own agendas and their own ways and their own politics was to say that we are rebel according to the likings of Ahlul Bayt, Ar-Rada min Ali Muhammad, and we are continuing the rebellion of Imam al-Hussein, even though that wasn't right. Abdullah bin Zubayr had nothing to do with Imam al-Hussein, salamullah alayhi. Abdullah bin Zubayr started on his own revolution, and he fought Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Hussein ibn Numayr came and he surrounded Mecca al-Mukarramah, and he threw rocks at the Kaaba, hitting the Kaaba, burning the Kaaba. And then of course you have Thawrat al-Tawwabin by Sulaiman bin Surad al-Khuza'i, and then you have Thawrat al-Mukhtar, the first Avenger, and so on and so forth. Even the Abbasides, when they came and they started fighting the Umayyads, they came with the whole saying, Ya li Tharat al-Hussein, Ar-Rada min Ali Muhammad, and they came with a banner that was black, because we are here commemorating the martyrdom of Hussein ibn Ali. Abbasides, Bani Abbas, and they had nothing to do with Imam al-Hussein. They were the enemies of Ahlul Bayt salamullahi alayhim ajma'in. The Imam said it himself, أريد أن آمر بالمعروف وأنهى عن المنكر وأسير بسيرة جدي وأبي علي بن أبي طالب. And I want to go through the seerah, the traditions, the way of my grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and my father Ali ibn Abi Talib. فمن قبلني بقبول الحق فالله أولى بالحق. This is the wasiyah of Imam Al-Hussein alayhi afdalus salati was salam to his brother Muhammad ibn Hanafiyyah. And of course Imam salamullah alayhi in subsequent nights, inshallah, we go through the other traditions of the Imam alayhi afdalus salati was salam, where he said why he's coming out rebel against Yazid ibn Muawiyah, because he knows this will happen. They come and they will put the whole revolution of Imam al-Hussein under question, and they say Hussein wasn't even a martyr. Was Hussein a martyr, they asked, and many of them said no, he's not even a martyr, he's not even a shaheed. And this is the reality of Muslims, unfortunately, that you find the month of Muharram and Safar are commemorated by some of the Muslims, the Shia of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus salati was salam, and the other so-called Muslims, they don't do anything. They don't come and they commemorate the martyrdom of Imam al-Hussein. They call themselves Muslims. They don't commemorate, they celebrate. And they say that what Hussein did in Karbala was not good for the Ummah. You had to be quiet and you had to listen to the companions. And Imam al-Hussein fought to become a Khalifa. That's another one they come with. And they say Imam al-Hussein fought to become a Khalifa. And he failed. مَا لَنَا وَالدُّخُولِ بَيْنَ الصَّلَاطِينَ. It was between two. One of them failed and one of them was victorious. He took over. He won. And that was Yazid ibn Muawiyah. So why do you come every year and you cry for Hussein? Why do you do that? Crying for Imam al-Hussein is a stab in their hearts. Stab in the hearts. That is why you see every year fighting the movement of Sha'ar al-Husayniyya. The gatherings of the Majalis becomes bigger and bigger. They try their best to stop it. But subhanAllah, every year becomes bigger than what it was the year before. And that is what's happening every year. Even though today, this year, we are in a COVID-19 pandemic, you find the movement of Imam al-Hussein, the revolution of Imam al-Hussein, the sayings of Imam al-Hussein, the message of Imam al-Hussein salamullahi alayhi is being spread around more than any other year. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين، وعلى علي بن الحسين، وعلى أولاد الحسين، وعلى أصحاب الحسين، وعلى أخته العقيلة زينب، وأخيه أبا الفضل العباس، ورحمة الله وبركاته.